Hey everyone, wanted to follow up on our video yesterday about Fantasy Labs, dig into some of the options that we have available. So one of the things that we touched on briefly yesterday was the contest dashboard. So we'll start here today. And again, this site has way more stuff than I could use, but one of the things that I do use is this contest dashboard. I think that's pretty much all that I use here: the models, the projections, and the contest dashboard. But I highly encourage you to sign up, dig in, and learn your way around. But we'll walk through what we can use the contest dashboard for. So if you want to be good at something, there's a lot of cliches. If you want to study greatness, you want to learn how to be great, what are other people doing? There's success leaves clues. So one of the things that's really neat about this tool is Fantasy Labs has put together pretty much the 4 biggest contests that played out. We'll just take a look and we'll walk through the Millionaire Maker just to get an idea of what this tool can do. So we'll go here and we'll start with the Millionaire Maker, and this is for week 5 of 2018. This is anybody that played in the tournament and being able to see what they did on a given tournament slate. So we'll just take a look at some of the players that you guys are familiar with. So we can see Osimo had 150 entries, a player pool of 108 different people, and a max percentage of 52%. So this is the first thing that's really interesting: is how many players should I go all in on? A sport like football, I'd recommend not going all in on a player, just because so many things can go wrong in football. A guy could get hurt, he could get locked down, he could have a bad game, and if you had 100% Christian McCaffrey and he gets hurt in the first quarter, your day's over. So I always like to see, hey, what are the pros doing, or what are the guys that I want to be doing? What are they doing? So we can take a look and we can see, okay, well, his highest owned player was Christian McCaffrey, and we can go on down and see how everything lined up for him. And then this shows you what the field was at. So Osimo Alex had 52% of McCaffrey. The field was at 26%, creating a leverage of just under 26%. So leverage is key in daily fantasy. If you have a guy at 10% ownership and he goes off and no one else in the field has him, you're going to be sitting pretty. So a good example of this right here is with his Travis Kelce. He's got 32% Travis Kelce. The field's at 8%. So he's got a 25% leverage on Travis Kelce. So what that means is every time Travis Kelce does something, Alex has a 25% advantage on the rest of the field. So he's going to catapult above all the people that don't have Travis Kelce. Similarly, a value that we saw with Valdez-Scantling. He filled in with the Packers banged up at wide receiver. Everyone in the tournament had 13%. He's at 40%, so another 25% leverage. So every time these guys, this is his core. His core is the guys that he's owning in the 20 to 50% range. So anytime one of these guys does something and he's got leverage over the field, that's what's going to catapult his lineups over everybody else. And that's how you win tournaments. You win tournaments by being on lower owned guys, or you have more pieces of them, you have more shares of them. There's a lot of carryover in DFS lingo with the stock market. You want to buy low, sell high. You want more shares than everybody else, and that's how you can leverage up. The other unique thing that you can take a look at is you can see their lineups. So we'll get a glimpse at what he's doing to build. So we'll just look at this one right here. So we've got a Goff paired with Cooks, paired with Kupp, running it back with Baldwin. So yesterday we touched on stacking and game stacking. So we have Goff stacked with Cooks, stacked with Kupp, running it back with Doug Baldwin. I bet we would see this in all of his lineups. Cam stacked with McCaffrey, stacked with Funchess, ran it back with Red Ellison. So going back to what we were talking about with success leaving clues, well, here we go. Here's 3 awesome pieces of valuable information that will help make you a better football player just in the 3 minutes or so that we've been doing this video. Number 1, a 50% cap is really good. That's what I do as well. The game stacking, he uses a 4-man stack, and we're seeing with the higher football scores that that's probably here to stay. So I'd highly advise doing a stack with a game stack. The other thing that we can take a look at that I'm always curious about is how many quarterbacks did they use? So quarterbacks, with it being such a pass-heavy league, we want to look at this distribution. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 16. So there's 12 games on this slate. He's using 16 quarterbacks. So he has 67% exposure to the available quarterbacks. And I'd say that's a pretty good way to go. You know, football, you can't possibly take a stand on everyone. I mean, you can, but you're going to need something absolutely perfect to come through for you. So by going with a handful of quarterbacks while taking some chances on fading some guys that you know aren't going to do so well, I think that's a really smart way to go. The other thing that we can take a look at on our tool here is the leaderboard. And this will actually show us who the winning score was. So this guy, Slay Stations, he had 35 entries into the contest, and he had Aaron Rodgers stacks. Let's see how many people he used. So he had Rodgers stacked with Adams and Valdez, which was a tremendous way to go. But interestingly enough, no Detroits. So he actually played it pretty well, because in a shootout like that game was, typically you'd have a guy like Tate or Galladay or Marvin Jones go off. I think only Galladay did anything, and their production was limited because Blount got 2 goal line touchdowns. That's also going to carry on Johnson and Theo Riddick's availability as well. But it's very interesting if you go through here and you look at the top 25 or so. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 13. So 13 out of 23, over half. So that tells me, okay, Aaron Rodgers was the right play this day. The other thing that's interesting too is look at the distribution between entries. We have basically a quarter of the people in the top 25 are max entering this thing. This guy only entered 35 of 150, so only about 25%. So I wouldn't recommend going in on a tournament like this, but you can win it if you get super lucky. So just keep in mind that numerous opportunities exist in DFS, and that's my favorite. My favorite thing about it is that there's numerous ways to skin the cat, so to speak. So this is how I use this tool. I check it, multiple times a week. It's absolutely fantastic for a beginner to get going, learn what to do. The other thing that I'll take a look at is always want to look at the Wildcat. This is a $333 buy-in. So the thing that this is going to show us is, hey, what are the best in the world guys that can afford to play at these stakes? What are they doing? One of my favorite players is Chess is Okay. This guy's absolutely demolished football last year. He's won $1 million multiple times. So this is a guy that I like to spotlight as well. Again, we see a 50% cap. Let's take a look at the number of quarterbacks. So he's using 17 quarterbacks, so similar to the 16 that we saw Alex Osmo use. And let's just take a look at some of James's lineups here, see what he's doing. So we've got a Goff, Cooks, Cup, Baldwin, Lockett. So James is actually going with 5-man stacks. So a quarterback with 4 guys from the same game. 1, 2, 3, 4. Goff makes 5. So there's, again, numerous ways to skin the cat. We just looked at 2 of the best in the world at this and what they're doing. Similar approaches, and I highly recommend both of them. I really like both of the game. I like the game that both these guys play. I try to model mine the same. And again, we're not trying to reinvent any wheels. If someone's doing something that's working, we want to take it. make it our own, and see if we can be successful with it. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Hit me up on Twitter @swimjg. And if you have any questions or video requests, please let me know.